say she does?
Not good. I would say the majority she's getting like between a 50 to like a 75 if it's a skill that she, a pretty easy skill for the class. But she usually gets like 3 out of 4, 2 out of 4.
Okay.
Especially she was having a lot of trouble with like the long division. We did that for like a long time, and she was scoring like in the 50s, 25% when we were doing that.
Is she typically attempting all of the problems?
She does. She tries. She attempts it. And even when I look over her assessments, I can kind of see where like the common errors are when it came to the long division, and even like with the multiplication regrouping. I kind of can see where she's, well, the majority of them is because she doesn't know her facts. But then on top of that, like it's the whole regrouping. She doesn't know where to line things up and how to carry. So, but I think it's more like the basic facts again.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. And how would you say she does on her math homework? Does she typically complete that? How does she bring it in on time?
For the most part she does complete them. She attempts them. I mean, it's not like right or anything, but she does at least try. Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like she does have some motivation. It's not like she's refusing to do any of the work. It just, like you said, sounds like she's missing some of that foundational knowledge. Okay. Can you, aside from the exit slip, the do now, and the measuring up assessment, can you tell me a little bit about like the typical math class that Heavenly would be in, sort of like what teaching styles you use?
Yeah, so she's actually in my afternoon class. In the afternoon class, it's like a 90-minute block. With that particular group, it's like where I have like 9 diverse learners in that group. So it's a little bit more of like my low functioning 4th grade math class. We start off with the do nows every day, and then we'll, depending on what lesson we're in our book, we'll either have, a whole group, and then they kind of break off into like their guided math groups. And then we'll come back together to like do a reflection or go over what I expect them to do for homework. There is like a guided math block with like the minutes and everything that I have that I could probably share with you.
That would be great.
But it's pretty like in a routine. Like I kind of have them on a routine for class, so they know like exactly what to expect. It's the only thing that's really changing is like the skill or like the activity.
Okay, so like you said, they typically know what to expect in terms of like whole group instruction and the type of activities that you're having them do. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So it sounds like there's some definite structure to your classroom.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. When it comes to her basic fluency, which math fluency, those basic computation skills that we want to focus on, are there any times that you see her able to do that more successfully or demonstrate that skill? Any types of assessments or types of activities where small group or whatever type of setting that you've seen she's able to do that more successfully?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like when I have her particular group when they come to me for like the teacher guide, small group instruction, she works I feel like way better in those situations when it's just like 4 students. Also, even when they like do the centers, they're given an activity to do for their center. Her work is pretty much, on point for those activities, which is like, basic computation, for the skill that we're doing. But definitely I have realized when she's back there with me in a smaller group, she participates more. And from what I see and what I like can see in those small groups, she's actually, correct for the most part.
Okay.
And she's able to like express her answers. Yeah.
When she gets that more individualized or small group opportunities, she's more likely to participate, and also she seems to be more successful in demonstrating that skill. Okay. Okay. That's really helpful to know. And you mentioned that she has taken the NWEA in both reading and math. Do you happen to know generally how she did in the most recent NWEA?
You know what? I don't have the score offhand, but I know that for math, I believe she was like in the 190 range, which is still really low. But
Okay.
I think it might range from like the 195 to like 200. It's somewhere in that range.
But on the low end of the
On the low
percentile,
end,
would you say?
yes,
Okay.
yes. I think she is in the 25th percentile.
Okay.
Or
And do you
less.
have any idea how she did in reading? Do you know generally if it was about the same or better?
You know,
I can always check with Miss Howell.
yeah,
I
I was going to say I could check with Miss Howell, but I think she is supposed, I don't know. I'm not even going to say. I'm not sure.
That's okay. No problem. Okay. So just to summarize, your major concern is with Heavenly's basic computation skills, the, accuracy and, sort of quickness with which she can answer those basic multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division problems.
Right.
So that's the problem that you want to target.
Right.
Would you say that you see that this is most challenging for Heavenly when she's in large whole group instruction?
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like
Okay.
she gets distracted. She's not focused. I've been noticing that is when it's like a whole group instruction versus small group, she just gets very off task when it comes to like a whole group instruction.
Okay, so she also tends to show some off-task behavior when it's a whole group setting?
Yes, definitely.
What type of behaviors does she show?
A lot of it is like with her peers, like just not knowing how to like communicate properly with her peers. So like for instance, if there was a pencil that was not hers but was on her desk, she would just react like it would ruin, like she would just be so off task because that pencil and it not being hers and it's on her desk would just like kind of consume her like energy. So like her focus would just like be on that. Then she, the next minute she'll just start kind of, being distracted by her peers and start talking and just like one thing leads to another. So it takes a while to get her back.
Okay, so she maybe loses focus on what's going on in the classroom and instead becomes more fixated on things like people and objects and other things that are going on around her in the whole group setting?
Right.
Okay. And you said it takes a little bit of time to get her back on track and focused again?
Yeah, like, with the majority of my students, I could just like say their name or like just look at them and they'll know to just kind of get back to like work. But with her, it's always like, she has something to say, she has to explain herself, and it's just not the right time, not the right place to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have, can you tell me about maybe some of her strengths? What do you see Heavenly doing well in the classroom?
When she does get something, like she is like when she knows she's successful, she's like very proud of it. Like she owns it. So like it does make me feel good and feel happy when she actually is like getting something because you could tell that like she's excited about it,
Yep.
So, I'm sure like her eagerness is there to learn. It's just like, I just need her to like stay focused and like not get so frustrated and, just to have like more perseverance, I guess, with Heavenly.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. So would you say that when she becomes frustrated, what does that look like in the classroom? Is that related to the off-task behavior, or does that look like something else?
That, or it could be completely opposite too, where she'll just shut down and not do any work. Yeah. And that again will lead to, distracting her peers at her table, drawing, doing something completely off task, not related to math. So yeah, I mean, there are different things that kind of trigger her. And then like when she shuts down, it's kind of like in different ways.
That's important to know too, because sometimes for students when the work is really challenging, oftentimes they can, as you know, resort to other things to sort of avoid the challenging work. So it's definitely something that's helpful to know and to look into. I'm not saying